Have you ever just stopped for a second, looked around, and noticed the absolutely brutal difference between people who are just cruising through life on autopilot and those who are actually building something truly great? I mean, really think about that for a second. In today's Explainer, we're going to do a deep dive into this exact concept. We're breaking down exactly what separates those who just kind of let the days blur together from the ones who leave a permanent mark on the world. So, let's just jump right into it.
It's not talent. It's not money. It's not luck. Think about how often we look for a convenient excuse, right? We see someone remarkable and immediately go, oh, well, they were just born with it, or they had rich parents, or, right place, right time. We absolutely love these excuses because, honestly, they let us off the hook. But the material we're analyzing today, it completely shatters that myth.
So, that brings us to the million-dollar question. What actually separates ordinary people from extraordinary ones? It's a mystery we've all probably pondered at some point in our own careers or personal lives. But here's the reality. The answer doesn't lie in what happens to you. It's actually found in this silent, heavily overlooked pattern that is shared by literally every single remarkable person throughout history.
Which brings us to our first major concept, the illusion of success, and deconstructing these false goals we set for ourselves.
To really wrap our heads around this, we have to tear down some of the societal programming we've all just accepted. We spend so much time chasing totally false goals. Most of us think success is born purely from opportunity. That one lucky break. But the reality? The thing that actually changes a life is your reaction to opportunity. Opportunities pop up for a lot of people, but very, very few possess the emotional structure, the rooted identity, and the courage to actually sustain them once they arrive.
Look around, and we are just surrounded by modern illusions. More status, more appearance, more numbers, more followers. Honestly, just saying that list out loud feels exhausting, doesn't it? The world constantly teaches us to chase these external, quantifiable metrics. We're told to consume more, look better, get higher numbers on a screen. But chasing this path, it almost always leads to a profound sense of emptiness. Why? Because you're trying to fill an internal void with external metrics.
And that leads us to this absolute undeniable truth. Money is a tool. Success is something else entirely. There are wildly rich people who are completely empty inside. There are famous people who are entirely lost. There are folks who reach the absolute pinnacle of what they thought was their dream, only to realize, way too late, that they were running after the wrong thing the entire time. Money solves money problems, for sure, but it does not solve meaning problems.
We waste a massive amount of energy on external goals, status, appearances, consumption. But the real target you should be aiming for is internal construction. Character, presence, consistent identity, inner peace. There comes a point in your life where you realize that having recognition without actual truth just cannot sustain you. The true victory, the actual definition of winning, is managing to build something huge without ever having to abandon your core essence.
Moving on to part 2, the price of validation and the trap of trying to please everyone.
Seeking validation is arguably the single biggest mistake people make today. We just exhaust ourselves seeking it. From the internet, from our friends, from our coworkers. Ordinary people spend their whole lives seeking this approval, copying what others do and trying to act right. But extraordinary people, they build their identity. And more importantly, and this is a massive takeaway, they know exactly who they do not want to be. Living your life playing a character is unbelievably tiring. Extraordinary people understand that trying to please everyone completely destroys any possibility of true greatness.
But I gotta be honest with you here. This authenticity, it comes with a steep initial cost. Losing approval, being judged, seeming weird at first. Being true to yourself is absolutely going to make you lose the approval of people who only like the fake version of you. You're going to seem strange to them. But remember this, every single relevant person in history, at some point, broke a pattern. They broke the expectation of the right way to do things. Because that is literally the only way to become unforgettable.
Let's look at part 3, the stage and the backstage, where the greats are actually built.
Today, it feels like everyone wants the spotlight, right? Everyone wants the applause and the immediate recognition. But nobody can sustain excellence for very long without a rock-solid foundation. Sure, the internet can absolutely accelerate fame, but it cannot sustain relevance. Because true relevance is born in the backstage. It's born from discipline, from sacrifice, from doing the boring, repetitive things for years with absolute sheer obsession.
It's about mastering the tiny details in total discomfort that nobody else ever sees. That is exactly where the greats are built.
Let this quote really sink in for a moment. The difference between a good person and a bad person is that the good one overcame the bad things. Look, suffering does not choose its victims. Everyone feels fear. Everyone faces failure, rejection, and those really dark moments of crippling doubt. The difference isn't in the pain you experience. The difference is entirely in your reaction to it.
Some people use difficulty as an excuse to just stop, to give up and play the victim, but others use that exact same difficulty as a foundation to build strength. Life is never, ever going to get easier, but you can get stronger. You can learn to adapt. The strongest people aren't the ones who never fall down. They're simply the ones who have figured out how to get back up incredibly fast.
Which brings us to part 4, the risk of not living, the invisible weight of time.
Now, this is a somewhat terrifying realization that every single person eventually has to face. Age changes the way we look at risk, and it brings a very real weight that we just can't ignore. Let's walk through this progression together. Step 1, youth. When you're young, you believe there's always time to restart, and that gives you a lot of courage. Step 2, maturity. This brings awareness. You suddenly realize that decisions have real weight, your energy is limited, and time truly matters. Living without purpose suddenly feels very dangerous. And then, step 3, the end, the pain of what was not lived.
And this is exactly why dropping the act is so critical for your survival. Maintaining a fake image, performing for the world, pretending to be something you're not, it costs a massive amount of energy. It's the main reason why so many people today are just perpetually, completely exhausted. But authenticity? Authenticity actually releases energy. When you finally accept who you are, you stop competing, you stop acting, and you get your life force back so you can build something real.
Because at the end of the line, nobody actually suffers for what they tried and failed at. They suffer for a very specific set of reasons. Wasted potential, repressed authenticity, the courage they never had. The ultimate pain isn't failure. The ultimate pain is looking back and realizing you never truly lived as yourself.
Let's bring this home with part 5, the courage of authenticity, the true definition of greatness. We're going to change the trajectory right now and look at the ultimate solution to everything we've been talking about. I really want to empower you with how you can embody this. We need to completely redefine greatness. It does not come from perfection, it comes from the coherence between what is said, what is believed, and how one lives. Extraordinary people are not perfect. Let me say that again. They are not perfect. They simply possess alignment. What they say matches what they do, and that alignment creates an absolutely unstoppable force.
The world is completely full of talented but empty people, full of intelligent but lost people. If you want to leave a mark, if you want to be memorable, you don't need to be perfect. You just need these 4 simple, grounding characteristics: clarity, courage, consistency, identity. It's the capacity to continue being exactly who you are, even when it would be so much easier to just adapt to what the world expects of you.
And this brings us to the ultimate rule of the modern world. Excellence never comes from copying. You do not need to become someone else to build something massive. You literally just need to stop running away from who you are. The world doesn't need more copies. It doesn't need more fake characters playing a role.
The world needs true people. People who actually have the courage to build their own identity. People who can endure the messy process and keep moving forward on the difficult days. Because the difference between someone ordinary and someone unforgettable isn't talent. It's the courage to live authentically. So my final question to you as we wrap up this explainer is simply this: do you have that courage?